Hello guys, it's Chemaster here doing another Bakugan video. This time's actually a different one. This is a Bakugan discussion on Gen 3. So basically, while this is a discussion video, I do actually have something to unbox, kind of. So this is like partially an unboxing, partially a discussion, but I have this here starter pack. It's the Ventry one. So yeah, here's the box for it. And then here's the back of the box as well. So yeah, pretty interesting. Anyway, yeah, the main focus of this video though is not actually this unboxing. It's mainly going to be me talking about my first impressions and everything that I really want to talk about with Gen 3 after having it in hand. So I'm going to cut the video to open this, and then when I come back, I will have probably messed with things for quite a while, and then I'll give a quick overview of everything that comes in this starter pack, but then I'm going to go into everything else about Gen 3. So this will be a bit of a weird video, but hopefully it makes sense as it goes along. So yeah. Alright, so everything all opened up. I've messed with stuff for quite a while at this point. Alright, let's just do the quick overview here of everything. So first up, you get this Battle League thing. I don't know if these codes are exclusive or not. A one-time use or what, but if anyone wants to use this for the Roblox game, go for it. I'm not going to use it. So, there you go. Also, there's a checklist, but it's like a QR thing, which is really stupid, but sure. Okay, well, let's get into the actual stuff now. So first up, we have the cards. So we have the character cards, which are like this. I'll talk more about my thoughts on these cards and like their design later. I'm saving all of my main points for later. I'm just doing a quick overview of the product here first. So anyway, so the first one here is Trunks in Diamond. It's apparently in the Misfits clan as well. Has some kind of specialty there, I think. I think it's depending on what area it lands in. I don't know the area names, nor do I know the stat names. I don't know if they have official names yet, actually. I didn't see anything for stat names, but yeah. So there's that card. Then there's Octagon. Okay, by the way, some of the names in this gen do suck. Like, regardless of what you think of this gen, some of these names are something. There's worse ones than Octagon here as well. But here is Ventry, kind of the main one of the set. And then here's Blaze Sword. This is a special attack thing. So when you have a special attack Bakugan, you're kind of meant to like put these cards together like this or something, but yeah, you feel like you need a sleeve for this, but anyway. Yeah, it adds on to your stats there, as you could see, so. I mean, it's like a neat idea, but again, I'll talk about kind of what I think they could have done instead of this, like, weird card shape, but anyway. You do get ability cards. I believe they're called brawler cards now, but yeah, they're these character card type things. Here's Griffin. So basically you have smaller stat bonuses for like the green and the blue, but the red one gives you like a special thing. I think it depends on what clan you belong to. Then you get like a bigger bonus for that certain stats. And there's backslash. Same general idea. This one's apparently a color-based thing, so I guess if you're green you get this, from what I could assume. And then here is Mia, another clan-based one. Decent design, I guess, but the character designs aren't like terrible. Like, they're still like at least anime inspired, I would say, which is nice. They haven't completely strayed from that yet, but yeah, anyway. You also have gate cards, or whatever they're called nowadays. Okay, the backs actually kind of cool. I like these backs quite a bit. And then here's what they look like. I don't know if these are upside down or what. I genuinely don't know, but yeah, they're divided into zones. So basically, it depends on like. So how this works is it depends on where you land on the card. So if you land here, you get the specific bonus, I believe. So I think how this works, I'm pretty sure anyway, is if I land on like the green part here or something, I believe you use like the green stat. So I believe that's how this works. This is all pretty new to me. I haven't done like, well, I haven't like played obviously. I don't plan on really playing this game, but I just wanted to look at the rules. Some stuff still seems kind of unclear with this game. I don't know if we've gotten like proper rules and names for everything yet, but yeah, that's how it seems to work. So a couple other things you get in this set. You get this weird card thing. I don't know what this is. I think it's meant to be like a ripcord replacement, which, by the way, you have a ripcord here. This is a decently long ripcord as well, so there's that. But this is like the same thing. You can put this inside the special attack Bakugan. I think you're meant to open this and like use it as a ripcord if you maybe don't have this or something. I don't know. But other than that, I don't know what this is for. But this actual like card holder, by the way. Oh, it's upside down, I think. Yeah, whoops, my bad. This card holder itself, I don't like. I feel like the cards are gonna like the edges of the cards are gonna tear or like rip or something when I put it in and out of this thing. I don't like this plastic thing here. I don't know. It just doesn't really feel great to me. This might be just personal bias against it. I don't know, but I'm not a big fan of this. Let's go and get into the Bakugan real quick. So we have 3 of them here. Grab a gate card. First up is Diamond Trox. So, yeah, so we have Diamond Trox here. Open it up. Opens up like this. I think that there are manual parts, but they kind of just like... Oh yeah, this thing wants to come apart. But yeah, this thing, like the legs, I think they just kind of like move back slightly. I don't know if there's more to it, or if mine's just like really stuck, but yeah, this is like all I got out of mine. I don't know. Again, if there's more to it, mine is very stuck. But yeah, anyway. How this... Yeah, you just kind of like pull forward and that just fell. Can I find that really quick? Yeah, okay. So yeah, they just kind of split in half. It's actually not too bad. I thought this was going to be like a terrible split gimmick, but it's actually intuitive enough, I would say. You just take it apart, put it back together. I think bind is better overall. I feel like these, as you can see, are a bit loose, I think. They don't stand as well. Way, way better than the Bakugan Mutants from Titanium Surge, at the very least. Those were just really annoying to deal with. This is like, kind of like the bind system, but like, except, you know, northern and southern hemispheres, I guess you could say. Also just a little bit more loose, which I don't like as much, but it's not like terrible for a split gimmick. That's something. We also have this octagon here. This one opens up like this. Looks alright. And there are some manual parts on this guy, which I don't like how these manual parts on these Bakugan feel. It's like very awkward. I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'm gonna snap this thing, but it's meant to be pulled out apparently. So there we go. So here it is, octagon. I know that the camera angle's not the best, but bear with me here. It looks decent, I guess, but yeah, sure, alright. Then we have Ventry. This is the Titanium Ventry, special attack Bakugan, by the way. It is worth noting that there are the Titanium and then the Gold versions. Apparently there's also some that are like Titanium and Gold. I'll talk about that later, but yeah, they are different. Like, Titanium and Gold are different between sculpt, which is interesting. With this, I'm on a bed right now, recording on a bed, so I don't have a hard surface. We're going to use this as a hard surface, which is funny, but anyway. Putting the record in, very, very simple. And then you have this part to spin on. It's like this weird little plastic flat. The magnet's off-center as well, which is something, but anyway. Get ready for a terrible sound when it spins on this thing, but it is what it is. I don't have any of the hard surfaces right here, so... There we go. That didn't work nearly as well as I was hoping, but, you know, again, it is what it is. I don't have a lot of space here, but, I don't know. This video isn't meant to, like, test everything. I already did testing for these, but anyway. We'll just open this guy up so you could see what he looks like opened up if you were to actually, like, land him or something, so, yeah, he looks like this. Pretty decent looking, actually. I don't mind this appearance too much. Yeah, are these meant to fold out potentially? Yeah, okay. So he has manual parts that apparently fold out from the wings as well. Alright, let me try and get these out. A little bit awkward in terms of positioning, but yeah. Let me, if I could go get it. It's like very stiff. Okay, I got it. That's what titanium Ventry is supposed to look like. Pretty alright design. That keeps wanting to fall back in. Alright, cool. Sure, alright. I will say that these rings are kind of annoying to take off. I don't like putting them on and off. Aside from that, the split gimmick's fine. But yeah, I don't like that in particular, so... Yeah, anyway, that is kind of the overview of the starter pack. That's kind of everything that you get just from this. This probably could have been an unboxing on its own. I think we're already like, what, 10, 11 minutes into this video, so... Yeah, but that's just like my first impressions of the starter pack, but I have way, way more to say here. Actually, I have a list of like 11 things to talk about. Alright. First up, just gonna get this out of the way. The appearance of these Bakugan. How do I think they look? I'll give them like a 5 out of 10, I guess. They're like decent, actually. Some sculpts I think are really awkward and stupid. I don't like this Trox, for example. I don't think it looks all that good. I think something like Octagon is pretty, alright looking. This Ventry's pretty cool, actually. I do like how it looks. Not like, I don't know, it's not quite legacy level for me, but it's like pretty cool. Like cool enough, at least, So yeah, there's that. Some of the special treatments, like was it like the galactic ones or something? Those look pretty cool. But I feel like for every like pretty cool design, there's also like a really awkward one. It's decent. I'll give it credit for that. It's decent in terms of how these look. I'll give them that much. Now let's get into everything else. Alright, so they decided to split up the clan and color stuff. So we had attributes, and then Gen 2 we had factions, now they're called clans. I believe there are 7 clans total. 6 kind of normal ones. We have, what? Avian, Dragon, Dino, Mammal, Aquatic, and Insect. I think those are the 6. And there's the 7th one, which is like the Misfit clan. It's like this, they don't believe in being tied to a certain clan or something, and it's some really stupid stuff, I think. But yeah, that's the whole thing with it, I guess. But yeah, so instead of like attributes, we kind of have like instead of like being grouped into like an attribute kind of like color scheme, they're now grouped into kind of what they are. So it's kind of interesting, I guess. I guess usually attributes sort of had a theming like this, but it was a little bit less restrictive. I feel like now it's kind of more restrictive. But colors are separated, so you don't have to be a certain color to be in a certain clan. There's 5 main colors. You have red, green, blue, white, and black. Also special treatments like, again, Diamond, the Galactic, or Galaxy, whatever they're called. And some other ones, but yeah. Alright, so what do I think about the divide here? I think on paper, dividing this is actually pretty cool. It reminds me kind of of Bakudeck. Bakudeck didn't have to be a certain color. There were, like, Subterra was a good example. There were Subterra Bakugan that were, tan, like, most would be, but some were, like, green or black. They were not restricted. Or, like, you could have Darkest Bakugan be purple. It didn't matter with, Bakudeck. There was, like, a vague idea of a color scheme, but, like, it was pretty unrestricted. Each Bakugan kind of had their own set of colors. I feel like this was a step in the right direction with the idea, but I feel like the execution's not good because you still just have the same base colors. Like, yeah, there's special treatments, but we've always had that. Like, it's still, like, for the base 5 color schemes, it's still just the 5 same color schemes being used. It's not really much different than anything else. Effectively, it's like, if you went back to Legacy, it's like, okay, Darkest Bakugan could be any color from any attribute, but it still just uses the same basic color schemes. It's not, you see what I mean? It's not like that interesting, I feel. But I guess they aren't going to do unique color schemes for everything, so whatever, I guess. The whole titanium thing is pretty cool. Not titanium, the whole special attack thing I think is cool with how they have like the titanium and gold special attacks. I believe the metal inside's a bit different, and also the general color schemes have like a secondary color of like, titanium or gold. Also, titanium are more defensive, gold, or no, titanium are more defensive, gold are more offensive. So I actually like this idea quite a bit. If only it was on a better gimmick, but the base idea of something like that, again, not too bad. I don't mind that. But then we move on to the actual game, and my god, I hate this game. I really, really do. There's three different levels. There's like the basic game, which is basically like you take out four cards. Each opponent has two cards. So you make a 4 card little center arena thing with them, and you just have to get whoever has the most Bakugan of their three to stand wins. It's like so you just have to stand Bakugan. It's like the most baby mode game imaginable, which I really, really dislike. The intermediate mode is just like using like the power levels, like where you land on the gate cards effectively, and comparing like the character cards, like the power level on them, and like whoever has the highest number wins. There's no brawler cards or anything involved. It's again really, really stripped back, even more like the toy battling game from Gen 2. And you just fell over. Wonderful. Anyway. The best one is definitely the kind of advanced game, but the fact that this is advanced is really sad. It's basically the same as the intermediate game, except you have the option to use like 6 brawler cards, which it's like 6 ability cards. It's again very bland. I guess it's closer to like a legacy game, but I feel like it's just still with like the spinning and stuff. It just feels like very dumbed down overall. I don't like it. So there's no TCG. There's no TCG or any truly advanced stuff here, which is really unfortunate, honestly. I don't like that. Also, the spinning gimmick is really bad, I think. And just the arena in general has like a lot of slopes to, like drop your Bakugan onto, so they just fall onto a card. So I think you can only use like 2 spinning Bakugan, I think, something like that. I think you have to have like 1 Bakugan to roll, but there's like the ramps where you just like drop them down. They kind of roll onto the arena anyway, so it's really dumbed down. The arena is also really small. I'll talk more about the arena in a bit. A couple times I'll reference it, but we'll touch more on it. But anyway, rolling is very dumbed down. And the whole spin gimmick, it's so random. I don't like it. I know a lot of people compare it to Beyblade. I think it's a little bit disingenuous because I feel like there's because your main goal is to get onto the card and have the battle that way. It's not meant to be a proper spinning battle. So it's a little disingenuous to say it's just a Beyblade bootleg, but at the same time, the spinning gimmick compared to Beyblade is just so much weaker that it's just like, yeah, I would rather just play Beyblade, so the comparison's like kind of fair, I guess. Yeah, the spinning gimmick, like the actual spinning itself, like how it works, is actually pretty decent. Unfortunately, again, I just don't have anywhere to really test it out right now, but the spinning works well enough. I will give it credit for that. But the problem is it's just the spinning itself, like the gyro inside or whatever works well. Using it as a Bakugan gimmick, it doesn't work well at all. Because you have to like try and get onto the cards, and this is a big problem, is like the cards are raised off the ground. Like not by much, it's like not even like a millimeter probably, but well maybe like 1 millimeter, but whatever. Obviously, cards, they have magnets inside that have to be slightly raised off the ground, And here's the thing, it's like if you're rolling a Bakugan onto a card, obviously when it's rolling it has an easy time getting over the card generally. When you are spinning, the bottom part is a flat surface. This has a lot of trouble getting onto the card, meaning that a lot of the time, your Bakugan just stalls out and hits off the edge of the card and nothing happens. It really sucks. However, if you have the arena, there's actually, I believe there's like very small indents for where the cards go. So while it does alleviate the problem, it makes the barrier of entry much higher because it means you have to have an arena. One of the best things about Bakugan is you can kind of just play it anywhere. Yeah, different surfaces are better than others, but you can just kind of get a pretty basic mat, throw it down, and play. The arena's kind of sucked anyway, so just, again, get a mat, you're good to go. That's all you need. But with this, it very much markets the arena, which I'll come back to again with the price of the arena, just the like general prices of Bakugan in general. But yeah, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. But yeah, the fact that this kind of requires an arena for the spinning gimmick to even work properly sucks. You could just use these like core Bakugan here and not have to worry about the spinning gimmick, but the problem with that is I believe you can only use these special cards here, like the bottom halves, with the special attack Bakugan, I'm fairly certain. So you can't do that with the core Bakugan, so you're losing out on power, essentially. I guess you could have two players agree to not use them, but at that point it just starts to get a little bit bland, and at that point you're making up your own rules anyway, so it just is like whatever, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like the spinning gimmick was just not a well thought out idea at all. Also, with the cards, I don't like how these cards work. Like I mentioned, I really don't like these weird, like, halves, and that you have to, like, line them up. It just kind of sucks, and I feel like even with sleeves, it's just very awkward. So, I actually think they could have pulled from an old idea with Redakai here. Remember Redakai? I'm sure most people don't. It was sort of the Spin Master TCG that was kind of meant to almost replace Bakugan when Bakugan was ending, and, well, Redakai failed miserably. But they had these cards that were, like, transparent, and you can kind of overlay them onto your normal cards to kind of have, like, different numbers overlay other numbers, and it was kind of interesting with how it worked, but it was still a little overcomplicated and stupid, and also expensive. These cards were more expensive to print. So booster packs costed more. That was the big problem with Redakai. However, with this, you aren't getting these cards very often. It's like you're getting one, maybe two in a bigger set, so these cards aren't all that common. So I don't think printing them in kind of those, like, you know, those transparent styles would have been a problem for the cost here. I really don't think it would have been the case. So if you had a full-sized card like this, and had this to kind of, like, overlay on the card, like this was just a full-size card as well, that overlaid with, like, numbers, like say the stats were in the middle, and the, you know, again, these are in the middle, I think as an overlay it would work fine. Or even if these cards were this stupid, like, half card thing, if you could have still had the main cards be full cards and just set them on the bottom of them, I think that would have worked a lot better. Having both of these be these really stupid half cards just sucks. And I also think that, again, with the core Bakugan, like, you're just stuck with them. Like, you're stuck with these really stupid looking cards because, again, they really wanted to push this weird special attack gimmick, and again, the cards, I don't like how they work here. So again, I think that maybe if they used, like, those transparent cards, they could have potentially done better, or at least made the main cards full-sized. I don't like the half card idea, and also the fact they have, like, these weird, like, edges that, like, you know, jut out. They're meant to, like, line up, but again, they don't work too well. I don't like this personally. Next up, yeah, I guess we'll go into the price of these things. The core Bakugan are actually less than previous core Bakugan, I believe. I believe that they're $6, opposed to Gen 2's $7. Getting one of these guys for $6, not bad actually. I believe you get a character card and a gate card or something with them, and the Bakugan, so pretty alright actually. It's not like the worst pricing ever. So yeah, I'll take $6 for these, but the problem is, again, they're really trying to push these spinning ones, and these cost $10. And you do get the extra, you know, card to kind of add on, like the special attack card, but and I guess the ripcord, but having kind of your main Bakugan be $10, because with Gen 2, obviously the main ones were just the regular Bakugan. You didn't need Ultras. They always said, like, oh yeah, by the way, Ultras or Platinum Bakugan or Nova Bakugan, whatever. You know, they weren't meant to be kind of big, you know, things to affect gameplay, especially the Ultras. They had, like, the same cards and everything. It was just like they costed more, but they were just cool figures, kind of better for, you know, collection stuff, and some of them could, like, double core and stuff, which is cool, but, like, the idea was that you got a lot of the same stuff. With these, it's very much a push on these types of Bakugan, which, I just really don't like. And while, yeah, I get that they're $10 because they have, like, the gyro inside and whatnot, it still just doesn't feel very good in my opinion. I like these have to cost $10. Especially because you probably will need one of these. Because again, if you want to have two of these spinning Bakugan like in one core, well, you'll probably get one from the arena. Then you have to buy another $10 one, and then $6 more for a core Bakugan. Add in tax, and on a low ball, this is like $60 just to play the game. Because the arenas, by the way, are $40. And again, that's what you need to have those certain slots for the cards, so the spinning Bakugan actually can get onto the cards without just bouncing off. Again, a $40 barrier of entry, and again, with a proper deck, if you want to have two other Bakugan, it's probably upwards of $60 for a proper deck. That's way too high. This game is very simple and not complicated. It's not like a TCG. This is just such a simple game that's really not interesting, and they're charging you $60 just to play properly, and I feel like that barrier of entry is just not gonna work. It's not good. Like, no. Like, I don't know why they're expecting people to pay that much just for the arena. Again, at that point, just get 3 core Bakugan, alright, that's what, like $18? Call it a day there, I guess. Maybe buy a few other things, but like, I don't know. Playing this game properly is just way too expensive, and I was not going to buy the arena for this one video because I'm never going to use it again. Which is why I don't have it here. I wasn't paying $40 for that thing. No way in hell. Maybe if I see it on discount like a year after this line fails for like $10, I might pick it up. But until then, I'm just not doing that. Yeah, again, the prices for these, again, it's not like horrendous. Like, okay, I think that these special tax should be $10. Maybe like 8 or 9 would have been better, but everything else is like okay enough. I think the 5-packs might be $35, and I think that probably should have come down a bit. Like, I think 30's fair, 25 preferable, but 30. I don't know if they're 35 or not. If they're 35, that's kind of an L, but the arenas being 40 is just bad. That needed to be way cheaper. There's a bunch of extra junk on the arena. Again, just give us a basic arena with the indents. That's all we need. Charge like $10-15 for that. I will have way less problems with the game. Like, the game itself still sucks, don't get me wrong, but I'll at least have less problems with like the game, because okay, then it's at least more worth the price. Like, yeah, it's a $10 arena with like cheaper Bakugan. That's kind of more worth it, I guess, but even then, it's not a good game, so whatever. It's just that the barrier of entry is not ridiculous anymore, at the very least, but yeah. That arena price just really is upsetting, honestly. That's one of my biggest problems with this reboot, well, re-reboot so far. And then there's just some other stuff, like, I gotta say, the quality. I feel like the quality on these kind of sucks. Like, I don't know, I don't like how these feel, personally. They feel like kind of like the older Battle Planet Bakugan. So in my my Battle Planet video, I made a whole video talking about was, kind of like the Bakugan reboot to good, and talked about like all of Battle Planet and all 5 seasons, and I said I thought the quality early on was not as good, and I think that was kind of a problem, but then they fixed it to an extent as time went on. I said, by Evolutions and Legends, it was actually pretty solid, but it feels like we've gone back to kind of that Battle Planet, maybe even slightly worse than Battle Planet quality. Why? It just, again, the plastic feels cheap. The springs, I don't like how they feel. Like, the gyro feels good inside of this, but that's it. I don't think they feel great again. It's another quality problem that I have with this. Like, I don't know what happened with this. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Maybe the quality improves, but for now, they just feel cheap. I don't know. And again, when they're charging $10 for a whole Bakugan, I wish the quality was a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, the core being $6, I mean, I guess with those, like, again, it still could have been better. I don't know. They just don't feel great, personally. I don't think they're too good, and they didn't put much into the cost of these. Anyway, next up, well, that's kind of it for, I guess, like, the Bakugan themselves. Like, that was, like, the last thing I talked about. But let's just talk about a couple other things here. This gen, is it just me, or does this gen feel very weird and out of nowhere? Is that just me? Like, this like I don't know how else to describe it. It feels very much, in my opinion, like this was like an AI generated concept for Bakugan. Like that's like the best way I could explain this gen. It just feels so weird, like spinning Bakugan and like just the general vibe of this generation feels very weird to me. Maybe it was like a group of like 50 or 60-year-old executives that just are very out of touch and things that they just think that this is what the Bakugan fans want, this is what the kids want, and they were not correct on that. I'll come back to that in a bit, but yeah, this doesn't feel good. I almost wonder, like, was this like a rush? Like, did they rush this concept? Like, it almost feels like maybe the sales of the reboot were going down a lot or something, and maybe they were just like, all right, well, we need something new. Uh, Here, AI generated concept and throw it out immediately. We need to refresh immediately. Like, it almost feels like maybe Legends was supposed to be like a whole year, then they just decided to push this out. I don't know, but to me, this gen just feels very off. It doesn't feel quite right. I don't know what's up with it, so yeah. And with all that said, it leads me to kind of just say a lot of things here feel like they just contradict each other, which is why I gave the whole AI generated argument like, okay, spinning Bakugan. Well, that's weird and it doesn't really fit with Bakugan, but alright. And then, oh, well, the cards don't really work well. You need to have a stadium. And it feels like the spinning feels like a very like young kid idea, but then the stadium's expensive and I don't think young kids are going to get it. It just like anytime I try to make an argument for this gen, it's like there's always just something else that makes me think, yeah, this doesn't work. It just feels like a giant contradiction. Everything here just feels like it wants to contradict each other, and it just feels like they had genuinely zero clue what they were doing with Bakugan. I've always said Bakugan should be a more physical game, and I didn't like the TCG as much, but honestly, this is not what I meant by physical game. I didn't mean that spinning Bakugan. I didn't mean that. Bakutek was a great example. Bakutek, they again went. They were very careful with the designs and kind of how they made them. They made sure, different Bakugan had different physical attributes. That was cool. They weren't just putting a ripcord in the background, spinning them, and seeing what happens for no reason. There's no strategy involved. It sucks. It's terrible. Um, like again, this whole game, it just doesn't. It doesn't work. And yeah, I don't mind them moving away from the TCG, but like this game was just not well thought out. They really did not think about this at all. Um, like I don't like. I guess I put some thought into like how the spinning would work with like the gyro inside, but that's about it. It's like the gameplay itself feels like an afterthought. Like it just feels like they felt like making spinning Bakugan because maybe they thought Beyblade was popular. I don't know, but it clearly didn't. Like the game just didn't work. It doesn't work. It's really stupid. And like I said, no matter how I want to make arguments for this gen, something just conflicts with one another, and the gameplay doesn't work. That's all I'm trying to get at. And that leads me to my final point here. Who is this even for? Who wants this? Like, if this is for young kids, again, the barrier of entry is way too high for a very young kid. Parents aren't going to want to pay $40 for a whole arena. I feel like that's just not something that's as likely, and if they do, the kid's going to get bored with it. If they're like really young, they might have problems closing it. I don't know. They might have problems closing the background, whatever, but yeah. And the packaging says like 6 and up, so maybe like 6, 7, 8, whatever around there. I just feel like at that point, like here's the thing: kids aren't playing with toys anymore. I'm just gonna say it. Like okay, kids play with toys, but I feel like kids don't play with toys nearly as much. Like if they're gonna play with the toys, it's gonna be something probably related to a show that they're into. I think the show is only on like Netflix or whatever. I don't know how many kids are gonna get into the show. Um, I just feel like this wasn't a good toy. Like it feels very much like a 2000, not a well thought out one, but like maybe a toy that popped up in like the 2000s or something. It would be a fad back then. It feels like something like that. And again, like the old executives just still think we're living in 2005 and they can just throw out whatever and kids are gonna buy it. Kids have iPads now, man. They're playing with their iPads and their phones. They're on TikTok. They're not playing with toys anymore. That's just not how it is. Like I'm sorry to say, but like a lot of people who buy toys now are adults. Like as weird as that sounds, it's true. A lot of people who are buying toys and buying a lot of toys are older. They're older teens or adults who maybe are nostalgic to older things or whatever. But yeah, Kids don't want to have to get a $40 arena to play this stupid game. They just don't. That's not how it is, like, anymore. Again, a decade, 15 years ago, maybe, but it's just not the case now. And if this game isn't meant for kids, because I feel like, again, the barrier of entry for kids is too high, and if they don't have an arena, they're going to spin it a few times, probably get bored of it, never play it again. Yeah, Spin Master maybe makes a few sales off of a few Bakugan from someone, but like, the kid's not going to be a returning customer for very long at all. Like, it's not, it just doesn't have that longevity. So, was this for adults? No way in hell. This game's way too much of like a baby mode type of game. There's absolutely no way they considered adults in making this. The TCG, while flawed, was at least a good idea. It has a good way to bring kids in, maybe getting interested in the Bakugan, the cards, whatever, but also can keep the interest of older people by having a TCG, which TCGs can be dynamic. And yeah, there's clearly thought put into the game, even if it wasn't the best. There was no thought put in here. Adults aren't going to want to play this. What adults or older teen is going to look at Bakugan, spin them around, and have fun with these arenas and have tournaments about these Bakugan on a regular basis? No one. No one wants to play with these. Again, these are very much kids' toys, but again, the kids aren't going to care about these either. Who are they trying to market this for? Like, I'm just saying, like, if they want to go all in, like, on some younger kid stuff, they can. If they feel like it, but like, this was not the way to do it. Like, yeah, no. I think they're much better off marketing Bakugan towards an older audience, because I think a lot of people who want to see Bakugan are, again, teenagers or adults at this point who grew up with, like, legacy Bakugan. And again, I think having something that, again, can still appeal to kids, because again, kids, like, are buying toys a lot less, but they still buy them. But having something like the TCG, and again, while I don't like it, it was a good idea in concept to make sure older people could play. Having that appeal to both, and having the complexity for older people, but again, just kind of the general appeal to younger people as well, it struck a pretty good balance, I think. Maybe have the show be a little bit closer to Legacy, where it's slightly more mature, but like, still a kids show, but you know what I mean. That would have been nice, but yeah, I think that I just think that this generation just didn't know what it wanted to be and was a very rushed job. Like, I just don't think they thought this through at all and didn't consider it. They just think it's 2005, it's Bakugan, it's a big brand, they can throw out anything and people will just eat it up, and again, it's not true. Older people are too smart to get invested in this. Will I pick up more Bakugan? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I might pick up a couple of the rare ones, but I'm not going to like be buying Bakugan much at all. And I think a lot of people are going to be the same. They aren't going to care about this gen nearly as much as even the previous one. And for kids, I just don't think this appeals. This isn't interesting enough for a kid to want to be invested into the series. Again, like I said, they have iPads. They tried the Roblox thing. Like, you got the Battle League, but again, that's only going to like do things for so long. Like, I don't think the Roblox tie-in's going to help Bakugan too much. This is just an absolute clusterfuck of a gen. I'm sorry. It just is awful. Like, the designs are the only thing here I could say are decent. They did some okay things, again, like the color and the clan split thing, and also like the kind of like the special attack, titanium gold differences. There's some decent ideas there, but they weren't well thought out, and the whole gameplay and everything else, they just didn't consider anything. And they don't really seem to know what people want anymore. They don't know what Bakugan fans want. They don't know what kids are doing anymore. This whole gen just feels extremely out of touch, and I feel like I've gone on about that for a little bit too long now, but I just think that's how it is. I just think that they genuinely had zero clue what they were trying to do here, and it shows. That's all. That's all I have to say for this video. This gen's terrible. Like, the designs are okay. I don't want to blame the design team here for making the Bakugan look the way they do. They did fine, but I just think that the execs or whoever's at the top they just don't know what they're doing anymore. It's sad. I feel like in a year Bakugan's going to be, or maybe 2 years at best, I think Bakugan's just going to be dead again. I imagine they aren't going to pull a 4th gen immediately. This might be the last time we see Bakugan, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think it'd be in their best interest to just call it quits like now. Just end the 3rd gen by like next year. Call it a day. Take a few years to try and actually figure out a genuinely good 4th gen, and then come back and try with some some more appeal to like older fans, as well as, you know, keeping, you know, still the base idea of Bakugan. To if a kid wants to pick him up, they can, you know. And I think they are actually pretty close to doing that with the second gen. They just had some unfortunate missteps, and obviously the terrible mismanagement of the TCG was a huge blow to older fans. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is just stop Gen 3. Just stop Gen 3 now. It's shit. It's not going anywhere. I'm sorry to say it's that bad. Try going with the Gen 4. Just, that's all to say. So anyways, sorry for the long video. I really had a lot to say with this gen, and I just don't think it's a good idea. It was just not well thought out. It's a mess. So anyway, that's all for this video. So thanks for watching, and bye bye.